it's been 2 weeks. So tonight, I think it's a fun topic. All of our shows, we like to at least meet one of encouraging, celebrating women, talking about that hard stuff, getting through life together, or informing women. So I am a person, that does not mind asking questions, and even the hard questions. So tonight, I thought we would educate you and inform you on different ways to celebrate the holiday season. So over the years, there's been a lot of, you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. You have to say Happy Holidays. Then Christmas got changed to Xmas, which is offensive to a lot of people.
Yes.
So I'd like to introduce my guest, and we'll get on to our topic. So I'm Danielle Valentine. I am host of Sip of Solidarity. I have my nutcracker and my peppermint coffee with candy cane and flavoring.
Don't worry, that thing is not full.
Yes, it is.
It is almost, okay, so
It's totally full. What are you talking
I am
about?
not sleeping tonight. It does have 28 ounces of coffee
Yeah,
in it.
no sleep tonight.
So, plus all the peppermint and all that. So, that is what,
Keep going.
he's taking
Keep
my
going.
cup.
I feel like it's
I've
like
already drank
no
half of
sleep
it.
till Brooklyn.
Keep going.
I've already drank half of it. Can you tell by the craziness?
That's ridiculous. Keep going.
It's
So
gigantic.
it also, because with 28 ounces of peppermint coffee, you also need 6 ounces of peppermint creamer, right?
And all the calories and
So
sugar
you
that
can
go
see,
with
so
that.
I was raised Christian Baptist. All the Christmas. We fed the reindeers. We make birthday cakes for Jesus. I am 100% Christmas. If you would have tuned in 2 weeks ago, it was November 15th when my Christmas tree went up. And if you come to my house and pee in my bathroom, 22 nutcrackers will be staring at you. So
That's a little creepy.
I know. So that's just a little bit of
the Jew.
yeah. So we're gonna introduce our guest who walked to my door today and was like, "I have to go to the bathroom," and I'm like, "Go upstairs to the upstairs bathroom where the nutcrackers are."
Where they
So please
live.
introduce yourself. Tell us how you celebrate, or what religion you are, and
Yeah,
you
how I
celebrate.
identify.
How you identify.
My name is Kristen Moishtag. I'm Jewish. And yes, I was ogled by how many? 26?
22.
22
Nutcrackers.
A lot.
nutcrackers in her bathroom.
And they're all facing the toilet.
And you think the elves are creepy, man.
Yeah, it was
Let me drink
an
out of my cup.
experience. But yes, we don't.
She'll never forget it.
Yeah.
It's like The Shining.
It is like The Shining.
Oh, we're breaking things.
Yeah, we're breaking things.
Already.
I'm also drinking wine. I'm not drinking coffee, so I'll probably be one of the animated people on this.
That's the reason.
Yep.
There's
that's
not-
actually why
here's
I'm
why.
here.
There is not many people in this life that can animate me, and I think I have found one.
We'll show off the sweater.
Yeah.
So let's take a. So I have my nutcracker sweater on.
I walk in, and this is my sweater.
I like that it says, "Let's get lit."
Let's get lit. And
She
then
walks
she gave me a
in-
bottle of wine.
She walks in today with her. What is this called?
Menorah.
A menorah.
We're gonna talk more about that. I can't even pronounce it.
It's a menorah.
She walks in the door and says, "Let's get lit," right away with that.
Like, I'm pretty positive that most Jewish holidays secretly revolve around alcohol.
and Manischewitz.
Oh, well,
We're gonna talk about all those words because I can't even say them.
I bought it
thank
as a
you
joke for my
so
husband.
much for being here.
Yeah.
And so she's gonna. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of say what our family does and what's normal for us and what's normal for like traditional. And I'm gonna say traditional. I know that each family celebrates different in different religion, but the Christian kind of traditions. She's going to tell us more of what full Jewish community does, what they believe in, and all that. And then we have Bethany. So Bethany should be in the middle because she's
I'm there like, yeah.
she's
so,
our middle ground. So
Yeah.
why are you on the show tonight? I gotta
So-
my jingle bells keep jingling.
Jingle bells. That sounds so wrong. So my husband is actually raised Jewish. I was not, so I was raised more along the lines of how you were. And I felt it was important for my kids to understand how the differences, to understand like where his family came from, you know, because like the Holocaust did directly affect his family.
Okay.
The world wars affected his family. Like His uncle was in the Battle of the Bulge. Like, so there's a lot of things there that I would like my children to understand.
Yeah.
So sometimes what happens is we'll be talking about things and I don't have a clue what's going on because I was not raised Jewish. So that's where these come in. These are great. So
She brought those for
PJ
me.
Library, I brought them for Danielle, but they're also great for me because sometimes when I don't understand something, I can read the kid book and it dumbs it down enough that like I get what the heck is going on.
I find fun
So,
Jewish friends that I
they're
can just
fun.
ask the questions to.
And so it's also nice because the kids can learn with me and like, so you can learn like there's books about mitzvah and like all sorts of different things that, you know, I understand the concept, but I don't necessarily understand the verbiage
And why?
or why.
And that's kind of some things that
that's
we're going to
helpful.
discuss tonight. And so the show should be fun, but I hope that you're educated and you walk away with something as well as an understanding. Because when there are so many times where I'm like, and why?
Also,
Why
I
did you-
refuse to put my Christmas tree up until after my birthday. So we did
When's
not.
your birthday?
Our birthdays are a week apart. My tree was up.
November 26th. So we waited
So,
until after Thanksgiving.
I will say this, being Jewish, my husband is not Jewish. He was raised Catholic. And now he's kind of like,
Which is a fun dynamic we have learned a
yeah,
lot.
he's kind of like agnostic at this point.
Okay.
But, so we have a Christmas tree. But the Christmas tree is covered in like Hanukkah themed decorations. It's blue and silver.
So it'd be
It's-
like the tree on the Goldbergs.
That's
yeah,
fun.
it's like a Hanukkah bush is like what I call it.
It's a Hanukkah bush.
That's
And
like a legit.
Mine is a 12-foot bright
It's beautiful.
red and silver Christmas
It's
tree.
beautiful.
giant. Mine is a live one. We got a concolor for.
I can't get a live
six
one because I watch
foot tall.
dogs and they pee on live trees.
I'm
And can you imagine?
I'm just not that dedicated.
We're
to the-
cheap and we wait until the week of and go to. Well, we used to get them at Collier's and their prices are like 80.
Oh, Collier's trees.
They're
They
well,
went-
and I love and not to knock them,
they're
but
wonderful
They're
people.
not any
but their
cheaper
trees
at
have gone
Graf.
up.
yeah,
but
they're all
I
expensive.
at least know that I can get, if I go in the beginning, I will get exactly the needle I want because I like it for a specific
Right.
reason.
So we
I
go.
don't know.
We go
Wait a
the week
minute.
of Christmas.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
What do you mean the needle you want?
So there's a difference
For the
between
Jew. What does that mean?
For the Jew, what's the needle on the
So,
tree?
Time out. Rewind. What is it you mean the needle
Jewish
you want?
timeout.
Jewish timeout.
Flag on the play.
So you have like your Fraser fir that's gonna have a short, spikier needle.
They're like a pretty blue.
They're like
Do you
a
have a
pretty
microphone?
blue. So they're gonna be more like
Get one.
this
It's on.
kind of a thing. And a concolor fir has a needle that's about 2 inches long. It's much softer, so you don't stab yourself when you're putting all of the like ornaments on.
But those branches have a tendency to sag.
But
They
here's
sag
the
a
deal.
little bit.
I don't think that much. Like, I can't think that much about
And
my
they,
Christmas
they
No.
tree.
also
Same.
kind of smell like citrusy, so it has a different scent.
The Douglas firs and the
Oh.
Fraser firs are much more rigid. The
Mhm.
needles are much shorter, and they have a tendency to not fall off.
Right.
So that's why they're more expensive. The
Yes.
point is, our trick is, we wait until the week of Christmas,
Last
and
year
we go to
barely
Lowe's.
got one.
We go to Lowe's, and they've got like 6-footers on clearance for like $20, and we're like, "That's the
Wait,
one."
I got my
Wait.
12-foot Christmas tree 90% off at Target. It even came with the ornaments. I pulled up and they threw it in a shopping cart. 3 shopping carts with the ornaments and everything even on it.
That's a
Not
little
those ornaments.
crazy.
So wait, how much does a live Christmas tree usually cost?
It
Up to
depends
$100.
on the height.
Yeah. My Christmas tree was like 80 bucks and it's fake.
Depending on where you go,
I think
up
mine
to
was
$100.
about
Wow.
95 this year. The
Yep.
prices did go up, but
Well,
we did get a larger
did you hear?
tree.
There's a
Okay.
Christmas tree
And we
That's
shortage.
less alcohol they're buying.
There's this
after
tree
this.
shortage.
That is less alcohol you're buying. I
Because-
mean, my God.
When you
But
see
we
all the
don't always spend
wildfires
that much.
that's
Yeah.
happening, those are the kind of trees that are
They're
getting
the
burned
Christmas
up.
trees. Wow.
So that's why
Wow.
the price went up a little bit.
One
So
year,
That makes
Christmas
sense.
is ruined
So
by
as a
the
child,
forest fires.
we
Julie Noble.
had ball trees.
The true
Like,
tragedy of
True
the,
tragedy
of the forest fires was that all of the Christmas trees were ruined. Dear
Good
God.
point. Oh, that's
so
awesome.
as a kid,
Hard-hitting
growing
news right
up,
there.
we would go to, and I can't remember the farm, but my parents would buy an actual live tree, like with the root ball and everything, and then we would plant them. So, like until recently, they were planted around the house. A couple of
Well,
them had to
one
come
of our
down.
first episodes ever on the show was Roddy going and getting his tree at Gale House Tree Farms.
I
That's
remember
where you
that.
you schlup, is that the right word?
Schlep.
You
Schlep.
schlep
With an
you
E.
schlep your way out there. You hack
Very schleppy.
you hack the tree down all on your own.
It's
You
kinda
drag it all the way
like
back.
Sweat.
That is too
But
work.
it's cheaper that way because you're
Yeah, I'm sure
you're
it is.
doing your own work.
That's a different type of Christmas. We are not.
That's a
doing
lot
that.
of schlepping.
We should do that when you're into do it as a thing. Like, let's
I will be the
order
camera
ourselves.
person with my coffee. All right, guys. All right. So, rein it in. All right, guys. So, what I want to do, so let's go back. You raise your children to have the knowledge of both.
Yes.
All right. So, I'm going to start. What we can do, kind of talk about what it looks like. I mean, I can't even say the day of because you've got.
We have our own calendar. We have
their
our
own
own
calendar.
calendar.
Hanukkah falls very close to Christmas this year.
This year, it's like almost perfectly close. I think
Yeah.
we start on the 24th.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like perfectly.
Well, and I have some questions for that. So my family, I raised both of my children. We are very active in the church. We start our Christmas parties, second week of December. I've already gone to a couple of them, so
That's
even like
normal.
the first. Our tree goes up usually the Sunday before my birthday, which is the 18th of November. We have our holiday parties. We do Christmas Eve dinner at my house. We go to Christmas Eve service at church, and our church has like all this music and lights and all this. We buy a birthday cake for Jesus.
I don't remember doing that as a kid.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
we did, and I just don't remember.
and we go over. We have.
I mean, we definitely didn't do it. So.
Well, yeah,
she's like, we
clearly
definitely
not.
didn't do it.
Well, do you with the manger? Do you have a manger?
Yes, so
Do
12
you
days
wait to
before.
put Jesus out?
Yep.
Okay.
Jesus does not go out until Christmas Eve after we sing Happy Birthday to Jesus. Baby Jesus gets added to the manger.
Oh.
And so each day we have this thing 12 days before Christmas, like we introduce Mary and we introduce you introduce everybody who's a part, and then Jesus gets added Christmas Eve after you sing Happy Birthday. We also make candy cane pepperoni pizzas on Christmas Eve usually.
Candy cane, like it legit has.
No.
Okay.
They're
Oh
just-
my
they're-
God, I got worried.
They're
I was
pizza
because I could
in
see
the
her
shape
face, and she was
of candy
like,
cane. So we do all these things. We used to go out.
So is it just shaped like
Yes,
the
shaped
dough
of candy
is.
cane. But the
Okay.
I
pizza
guess
I'm
I
sorry.
needed to like.
I got
clarify
really
that one.
worried.
We lost
Do
her.
you go as far as braiding it? The
Yeah.
dough?
Yeah.
You braid the dough?
Mhm.
Okay.
Of course you would. Of
So
course
these
you would.
are just traditions that we do.
Maybe I
Our
need to,
whole
like, come to
family
her
then
house for
wakes up
pizza.
on Christmas morning. My children will tell you, I hope CSB isn't watching, the only time I lock my children in their rooms is Christmas morning. I wake up and I lock their doors because they're not allowed out until both sets of grandparents are here and any aunts and uncles that want to join. Even now, the kids hate it.
Oh, that's what the locks on the outside of the door is
Yes.
for? Okay.
I only lock them in their room one day a week. Or one day a week. One day a year.
Epic fail on that,
this
Danielle.
probably shouldn't be released since I am now going to be licensed as a foster and adopt parent. I probably shouldn't have released that. Just erase that part. But because the whole family comes over, my family, they are the youngest. Even though my kids are 8 and 12, they are the babies.
Yeah.
So we all open presents, then we go to my aunt's,
So we
and
just
Christmas.
wait till 10 o'clock, and they just know that they're not allowed to touch anything.
Oh, I like their faces. I have their video every year of coming down the steps with all the presents. So these are things. We feed the reindeers, which is basically just sprinkling oatmeal in the front yard. We do all things. The only thing we don't do is
Hopefully
the
you
creepy
have
elf.
glitter in your.
Oh no, we don't believe in
She's just
glitter.
like, just
So-
exuding Christmas.
So
I
that's
know.
from
so
her
Christmas
soul.
is a big
However, we
deal.
have 3 elves. One
We
for
don't
each
do elves.
child.
This is why my children know that they have to behave 12 months out of the year, not when this crazy thing comes around for 1 month and tells them to behave. So we do not.
I gotta hear this. You got an elf per kid?
Not because I wanted the elf per kid, but my darling mother gave me an elf per kid. So we just introduced the 3rd elf.
This is what
Their
we're
names
doing.
are Shar,
Yeah, they have a lemur.
Elfie, and Cookie. And for us, I let each kid name their own elf. Anya's elf is Shar, Gabe named his Elfie, and Reese called it Cookie. I have no idea why. He's 3. Like,
Look at Jesus.
Why? Go why?
Like, okay, am I allowed to swear on this show or no?
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Have at it.
you know when like you watch certain shows.
that's why
and
the
people
bench
review
on the
things,
bench went back.
and black people are like, that's white people shit. That's where I'm at right now. Where I'm like,
Oh, don't
okay.
worry. She got us a bench on the bench, and I took that back because I was like, I can't handle it anymore.
That's a lot of responsibility.
That's a lot of responsibility.
So, finishing up.
However, my 9-year-old is the one in charge of moving the elves because
That's
she
That's genius.
this year she came to me and said, I know the elves aren't real, which I never really said they were real or not real, and my elves don't do horrible things either.
Pity.
And so I asked her if she wanted to help, like, make it special for her brothers because they're 4.5 and 3.
Which is good when you involve the oldest. I think
Yeah.
that would be
So
worth it.
she made a whole list of things that we're doing. So like yesterday they brought the stockings out. So each elf like was in the respective stocking, and like we just come up with silly stuff. Sometimes they bring powdered sugar donuts. It's not like super fancy. Like it's not Pinterest worthy, that's for sure.
So that is my Christmas. We go all out, and we are very careful at telling Jesus' story and what Christmas is for, and we do presents on Christmas only, and I do ask my family to only try to buy gift cards that like the whole family can participate, so it's not just a bunch of presents, but really big Christianity bound all the way to feeding reindeer. So that's kind of, my daughter wants me to show the lemur. So the lemur came around, and he leaves encouraging notes because the elf is creepy. So today it said...
Yeah, you're right, because lemurs aren't.
Or the nutcrackers.
Totally normal.
The
Everything's
nutcrackers
totally
are
normal.
completely normal.
Especially when they watch you urinate. That's totally fine.
Everybody's going to want to come to my house to pee now.
Also, I should add I am not drinking tonight because I am sick, so I have tea. So there's no alcohol here.
Except for me.
Mine
for me.
Mine is just coffee with a lot of peppermint creamer. So please tell me about this calendar and why your holiday is different than mine. You don't feed reindeer, do you?
Let her start.
Yeah.
She's got to start from
Let-
the beginning.
Yeah,
There's
let her.
so much.
There's,
I need to know. You don't
We
feed
have-
reindeer.
I mean, we have a couple thousand years of history. Where
yeah,
are we
you
starting?
went and did your thing,
Like,
right?
Yeah, let's go.
Now
I
it's-
hear it all.
Well,
So
first
it-
off, I just want it documented that I walked through the door and this woman liquored me up. Okay? Like, immediately. Which I'm not against, by the way. But, no, so I was raised in an interfaith family. However, as an adult, I can't even say as an adult. Pretty much my entire life, I flocked towards the Jewish aspect of my family. And then as an adult, was involved in multiple Jewish organizations. I was, I did a fellowship where I did pro-Israel work, where I was dealing with hate crimes on my university's campus. And then from there,
This cup is impossible to drink out of.
I'm really just kind of watching her side-eyed. Like, I just want to see, like, how
I'm
this
waiting
is
for it
going.
to just dribble down.
Like, just all at once. I'm waiting for this.
Do you want a scooper?
I will keep a straight
She
face,
needs a
by the
ladle.
way, when this happens. Like, I will not break character.
Ladle
I'll
and a
sit there and be
dreidel.
Ladle and a dreidel. Come on.
like, I'm over here like, yeah, I was dealing with hate crimes, and she's, like, spittling down her foot. It's fine.
Go ahead.
So from there, you know, I moved back to the area for law school and started getting really involved in the local. I love this so much. This just makes me happy. Started getting involved in one of the local temples, which is amazing. And yeah, that's just kind of me. But my husband was raised super Catholic, and I'm pretty positive that 80% of his family had never met a Jew, ever. And I kind of love it because I find some satisfaction in just causing panic in people when because I mean, I think a big draw of this conversation is that people are afraid to ask
questions.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to have you on, and I knew I could ask you
awkward.
anything.
Like, it's so awkward to walk up, like, say you're not raised Jewish, okay? It's super awkward to walk up to a random Jew and be like, I just have a question. Why do you wear the hat thingies?
Why do you wear the hat?
Yarmulke?
The yarmulkes or the kippahs is what they're called, by the way. Kippah is Hebrew. Yarmulke is Yiddish. Yiddish is a combination of Hebrew and German.
But then, totally different religion. I went
Yeah.
to a Catholic wedding like 5 years ago, and they made me put this black thing on my head. And I had a good hair day that day.
I have no idea on that one.
And it was definitely Catholic.
Well,
If you know the answer to that question, please chime
yeah,
in.
if you know the answer to that
It was a
question.
Catholic wedding, and
No
I had
clue.
to wear this black doily on my hair.
Was it lace?
It was actually
lace.
doily. It was a practical joke.
Oh
No, so we wear I call them kippahs. That's the Hebrew word for Hebrew being the word of or the language of the
Don't
Jewish
make fun
people.
of my cup. It's too big to drink out of.
But we wear kippahs on our head. It's not a necessarily like religious rule necessarily, but you're supposed to wear a kippah as a cultural aspect for when you're studying Torah, and Torah being the Old Testament. And a lot of people have taken that for men traditionally to wear kippahs or yarmulkes at all times, because a lot of the more orthodox religions are studying Torah constantly. Now, let's say in my community, in a Reformed movement, because you have the traditional breakdown of things, or you have Reform, which is what I am, and it's, my father teases and calls it Jewish light. But
I've
it's
heard
like,
that before.
but it's like, you know, we're able to kind of set our own boundaries of our religion and set our own boundaries of our view on God. Then you have conservative, which is a more traditional aspect, and then you have Orthodox, which is
really confusing to me.
but more like
Yeah.
it's more traditional.
But what sets, just briefly, what sets these apart? Is it similar to, so for Christianity, you have Baptist Christians, Southern Baptist Christians.
It's like
Catholic.
learning about keeping kosher and understanding what that means and what it means to
I
have a
know.
kosher
So all I know
kitchen.
about that. So we are members of the JCC. Both of my children went to the JCC for daycare until they aged out.
Which is the Jewish community
It's
center.
the Jewish Community Center. They are the best daycare center.
They're
I would
amazing.
say
Yeah.
50 to 60% of the people that go there are the doctors' kids.
They're
for
amazing.
Yeah. So it was wonderful. I couldn't pack food with me. There were so many things I couldn't pack and couldn't bring holiday snacks. But when we go to the pool, I can't have my chip chop ham sandwich.
Well,
Like, not at all.
So
Like,
we don't eat.
I don't really like chip
pork.
chop ham
I
anyway.
love
Yeah, I know.
chip
It's really not that much of a, but like, so we don't eat pork, right? And some of that is religious guidance. I always tell people, I'm like, in all actuality, it was probably a public health movement, because back. No, but
Well, it makes sense.
But if you look back at the time, a couple thousand years back, when they were setting that into motion, there were a lot of diseases coming from pigs. Yeah, you had
That's true.
trick.
That's very
So
true.
trichinosis or trick was hugely found in tainted pork products. So basically, you had the Jewish priests.
But isn't it all meat? Like, no meat is
No,
allowed at the JCC.
It's cleft.
It's cleft hooves.
Cleft
There's, if you get more into it, you know, any bottom feeding fish. So like catfish is technically not kosher. Rabbit is not kosher. You get into all these weird.
There's a
things.
lot
Okay.
of
So
Yes.
my dad is a Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay.
So he grew up on the Sabbath. So if I were to say they are directly related to Jewish culture in regards to their main thought process
Right.
regarding,
They're more than not.
yeah, you know what I
Right.
mean? So, and
That
I
makes
argue with this with him constantly. I'm like, Old Testament was, you know,
Was
kosher
this?
food
Right.
and cleft hoof and all that changed when the New Testament happened, right?
So, but what? Okay, so let's fast forward. What does your holidays look like?
what is your
So
house
yeah,
look
I'm
like?
sorry.
Like,
we're
yeah,
just-
what's your house look like? What's your holidays?
we got
What is
into
this-
the like.
what
Let's argue Judaism.
What is that thing? Why do you not have?
All right.
He is so cute. Why don't you have any of him in your house?
So
Dude, that is
Menorahs,
creepy as
yeah.
all get out, man. And
because I don't
yeah,
want
no.
them watching me pee. That's why.
I love them watching
I feel
me
like it's
pee.
gonna come like
Oh
bite
my
you. And
You
you're
heard
just
it.
like,
Did you hear this?
I don't even
I
eat
want
nuts, so I just
Oh
like
my
no.
God.
I don't
You
even
want
eat
this
nuts.
heard?
Guys,
She likes them watching her pee. That's actually the end of this podcast.
She is an exhibitionist. She just didn't know it.
It's done.
But she doesn't eat nuts.
But she doesn't eat nuts.
I don't eat nuts. They're just cute.
So many jokes. Anyway, so a menorah. A
Yes.
menorah.
Tell me what that is. I have a candle right here.
Yes.
Mine is surrounded by Christmas.
So
Pine and poinsettias.
pine and poinsettias and berries and oh my, and so a menorah. So Hanukkah as a
said,
whole.
oh my.
So Hanukkah as a whole, the story of Hanukkah is basically all organized around an act of guerrilla warfare. Basically, you had these Greco-Syrian oppressors who were constantly massacring the Jews, attacking us, telling us that our religion wasn't valid, telling us that we didn't have the right to practice our religion. Now, we have had 2 temples to date. Certain groups of Jews are hoping for a 3rd temple. Not to be confused with if you have a Jewish friend who says, oh, I'm going to temple. They are not going to the temple. That is what we
They're
refer
just
to
going
like
the meet,
our
like a meeting
church. Like it's
So
like a
instead
Jewish
of going to
church.
church, you go to temple.
Right.
Do you
go to
go
temple
weekly?
Yes, I go every Friday.
So you guys go on Friday.
Yeah,
we go on Sunday.
Sabbath starts Friday.
Sabbath starts
Yeah.
Friday at sundown.
Wait a minute, is that so? I have clients who can only drop their dog off, and they clearly say it has to be before the sun sets. Is that why?
Probably exactly
Most likely,
why. That's
yeah.
probably
Sunset,
exactly
sunset.
it.
Because I'm always like,
Okay, that's
Why?
very specific. Right, like it's probably that's probably
okay.
exactly.
I
it.
don't ask them why. I just say okay.
Yeah, that's
But-
probably exactly it.
I
And
would think that would be it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what else they'd be doing.
So
that
you cannot
is
drive
set on the
after sunset.
Oh,
No, it's any
It's
kind of
business. That would be
Any
considered
kind of
Oh, that
business.
makes sense. So when-
changing of
Commerce.
money, things like that. Okay,
that makes sense too, because one wasn't allowed to pay me till Monday.
there you go. Yeah,
And
So,
I was like, what? She's like,
Orthodox-
I'll be there at 8 a.m. to pay you. And I was like,
that's so specific.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's
Right.
why when the JCC does certain events, they say you have to prepay because
Before this
after
time.
that
this
makes
time-
sense. Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
Right.
That wasn't even
And
about Christmas.
so, and so we have those kind of things during
That makes
Shabbat is what we call it. We call it Shabbos or Shabbat.
Yeah.
And so
And you eat yummy bread, my kids say.
we
on Friday.
have challah bread, which
Challah
is
bread is tasty.
traditional. And
My
it's
kids
very
would come
good.
home every Friday from the JCC and be like, we had good bread. And I'm like,
Although
I've got Wonder Bread here.
I get very mad because Acme in Norton. So I moved to Norton before law school started, and they had this like Acme store right down the street,
Yeah.
and they sold literally challah bread. It was braided. Challah bread is braided in a certain way, and it's a traditional Jewish bread. And they named it friendship bread. And I'm like, what kind of cultural appropriation is this? I was so mad. And I like even
Did
said,
you go to the manager?
I did. I went to the baker and I was like, I have a question. What? And she just goes, yes, it's friendship bread. It's so nice. And I'm just sitting there staring
She
at
probably
her
had
like,
no idea.
they had no idea. And I didn't have the heart to tell this girl, like,
I'm ready to fight you right now.
Yeah.
it's
You're going out.
actually from the Jewish people, but okay, we'll just allow that.
Because there actually is like friendship bread, and it's like a starter, and it's like cinnamony and whatever.
I just looked at her
Just
like,
Wow.
yes, dear, okay. But so we had this whole history of, the Greeks, the Syrians, this kind of combined culture telling us that we weren't really worth the ground we stood on, and we had these temples. And basically they went in one day and trashed the entire temple, sacrificed
I'm not.
pigs in the temple, which obviously not kosher to say the least. And then there was this entire uprising over several years of the Maccabees, which was the family involved, and Judah Maccabee being the leader, who fought back and used guerrilla war tactics, and they basically fought the Greek and the Syrian people back to the point that they could retake the temple.
Mhm.
So once they retook the temple, the story of Hanukkah comes in, where they went in and there was a 7-branch menorah similar to this. There's all kinds of different menorahs. This is an 8-branch. With this differs from the menorah in the story because there is this middle candle. You would traditionally have candles in them.
You said it's 8 branch, but there's 9 holes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't count. Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I was like, wait.
I think ours has 9.
that one has an extra.
I can't
branch.
count.
Pretty sure.
So there's 9 branches on this one. The traditional one has 7 branches. But this one being that there's this middle candle called the shamash, which just literally means the leader. It's the lead candle. And you use that lead candle to light the other candles.
But
based
aren't you
on the
only
night.
supposed to light one a day?
Yes.
Okay.
So you light one a night for the 8 nights because when the Maccabees retook that second temple that had been desecrated, they went in, they only had so much olive oil to last one night.
What was the olive oil for?
The olive oil,
That's how you.
that
burn
was the
lamp,
burning
like-
mechanism.
Perfect.
The wick was in the oil.
Right.
Okay.
And so that was the mechanism that they had to burn the candles. And so they cleaned the temple, they re-sanctified it, and then they lit that menorah with only enough oil to burn for one night, but it burned for 8. And so I keep seeing all these jokes about like, imagine your cell phone only having enough battery for an hour and it went for 8. Like that's the level of miracle we're dealing with. And then basically the Jews of that area like celebrated for 8 days straight, and it was this huge miracle. So now we celebrate it. It's actually one of our lesser holidays. It's not one of our bigger holidays.
Wow.
Hanukkah's
Yeah,
not.
it's not a.
So
There's something that happens in September around Carter's.
Maybe
So
a
Rosh-
Rosh Hashanah.
Carter's
Rosh Hashanah and
birthday.
Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
Carter's birthday is September 28th, and the the JCC was always closed on his birthday.
So those are our bigger holidays. Our
Okay.
biggest, most holiest holidays of the year are our high holidays, and that's Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah being our New Year, and Yom Kippur being our Day of Atonement. And so it is our holiest days. There are.
So is
holiest
that the
days.
day you stay in the temple all day?
Yeah, pretty much. We just like stay. So Yom Kippur, especially, you stay there all day. It's like our day, like where Catholics can go and repent. We have like one day of atonement where we just like sit and apologize for all of the sins, basically.
So it's
of
like
the
kind of like
past year.
confession almost.
Kind of confession. Okay.
Yeah, like we apologize for all the terrible things
But-
we've done over the past year.
Well, back to Hanukkah though. It's my understanding. Do you guys, is that the gift giving season?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what are the gifts
which
relate to
is-
the 8 days?
So
They're not kind. They're not.
it's not mandated. It's
No.
not like you have to give gifts, but
How's it work?
it's become like very Americanized.
It has. Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's like, okay, well, all of our Christian friends are giving gifts during this season. So, like, imagine how it started out, because this is pretty much how I swindled my family into giving me Easter gifts. Was that, kids were coming home from school and they're like, oh, my friends are getting gifts on yada, yada, yada. Why am I not getting gifts? And, like, parents feel bad.
Yeah.
So
they
it
pull on
said-
a little
So
like
the
heartstring.
actual
Like,
gifts have nothing to do with
No-
the holiday or
Nothing.
anything.
Like,
Which,
mean,
to be honest,
like,
why do we
typically,
give gifts at Christmas?
I don't know.
It just became a thing. Like giving gifts at Christmas does not celebrate Jesus. Giving gifts at Christmas doesn't say "Happy Birthday, Jesus." Give
No.
me all the presents. It is Americanized. Like we started giving gifts because you just give gifts.
because
at
why
Christmas.
not? And
Like
it's-
why not?
And that has kind of rubbed off on Hanukkah, and so we now, some families don't even give gifts. Some
We really
give like a
don't
gift
do
a day.
Gifts for we play like we get chocolate coins in a dreidel.
Yeah,
and,
so
like,
you have gelt, which
Okay.
is the chocolate coins.
that's kind of
What does this dreidel mean? Please
I was
describe what a
just-
dreidel is.
Please.
so my kids-
You are such a redneck. Oh my god.
What is this gelt? What
is
do we
this
do with
dreidel?
this?
If
Because
my
my
kids-
kids would
My
bring
kids
them
are like, I
home.
want the chocolate coins.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is this? What am I
I
supposed to do?
almost brought a dreidel too. I almost brought one.
I
and
had
then-
a plastic one, but I
Yeah.
figured that was.
I
But
not-
I
almost
didn't
brought it.
know. Like he would be playing with it. I'm like, am I supposed to?
Is
Because
this
I really tried. To,
insensitive?
yeah, I was.
Like, you're,
It has.
I really
is this
tried.
racist?
And I can't think of all the. It has different.
It has so on
It
the
has different writing.
on the different sides you have Hebrew symbols which indicate different aspects of the game, and so you spin it, and depending
Oh, it
on
is
which,
a game.
it is a
legit
game.
It's a
It is a game, and so depending on which side you get
I thought it was
Depends
just
on what
pretty.
happens.
depends on how much of the pot you get. So you're basically teaching
Huh.
5-year-olds gambling.
gamble.
It is poker.
But it's.
But
chocolate
It's
coin?
chocolate coins.
Yeah.
Right.
So gelt is.
Can I introduce this into my Christian?
We call it gelt.
Christmas.
Yeah, it's gelt.
Okay.
I mean, if
So
I
it's
asked my
gelt.
husband,
So
he
when
would
does
say
it
gelt.
play? Is it played during Hanukkah?
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
It's like the
So you
traditional.
can only
time.
play it for 8 days.
So we
Also,
usually
you
get-
can't play dreidel shots, by the way, and you can use alcohol.
Oh
instead.
my.
So we usually buy each kid a bag of chocolate coins, and then like when they're done with them, they're done with them.
So I'm
Same.
gonna ask the questions.
Okay, go for it.
This
This right
This is
here
the
is
good
where
part?
it gets racist.
No, it's
It's
not gonna. No, here's my question. My first,
Everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe she asked that." Go ahead.
okay,
Go
here's
ahead.
my question. And this is my show, so don't get
She
offended.
just invited me because she knows I'll give her a straight.
She'll give me answers.
answer.
All right. So we celebrate
mediator.
Christmas because I am going to edit this as best as I can, and I have not been drinking, so hopefully it's done right. Okay.
I have.
We celebrate Christmas as Jesus' birthday.
Okay.
You, by my understanding,
Not Jesus' birthday.
is so where does
You
Jesus?
notice how she downed her wine before
Where does Jesus
all.
fall in your candles?
Non-existent.
He's a prophet.
Yeah, he's a prophet.
So here's the thing with Jesus. The Jews.
You
as a-
wait a minute. You do believe that there is a Jesus, right?
We believe that he existed. We don't. We're not like no made up. We're not like that.
okay.
He's not in our ideology. We view him as, yeah, he was a really great guy.
Because we are taught
Let her talk.
that
Like,
Jesus.
time
You
out.
asked the question.
Yeah,
Let
but
her
we're
finish.
taught that Jesus was Jewish.
So he was Jewish, which is also a very good argument for when people get anti-Semitic, by the way. Just if there's any Jews out there watching and they're like, how do I comment?
There are a couple on.
When people are like, how do I comment? When people make anti-Semitic comments, you can literally stare them dead in the soul and go, actually, Jesus was Jewish. And just wait for that awkwardness to go in.
I'm awkward right now.
But no, so he's not part of our ideology, so we don't have him. So technically in certain, like I said, Judaism as a whole is very multifaceted. We have multiple groups.
It's not any different than having like being non-denominational Baptist.
Right.
It's the same idea.
Very similar. We don't recognize Jesus as a prophet or the Messiah. Technically, there is the prophet Elijah in the Jewish faith, where he hasn't come yet. So, like during Passover, which is another one of our holidays, during Passover, certain people will set a plate and leave that plate vacant, and you will get up halfway through the meal and open the door to allow the prophet Elijah to come in.
Okay.
Wow.
And so, but not all Jews follow that. And so, you know, that is an aspect of Judaism that not many people know about. But we don't adhere to Jesus or the New Testament. It's just not part of our ideology. It's similar to, you know, I've had people ask me about the Holy Trinity, which, by the way, for Jews is completely confusing. I always sit there and I'm like, wait, what do you mean Jesus is God? And you just sit there and it's very confusing. I imagine it's the similar confusion as to when we try to explain the difference between cultural, religious, and ethnic Judaism to non-Jews. They just stare at us. They're like,
because there is
there are all these there are differences, and you know, my husband is constantly like,
well, he was raised Catholic, and so
Right.
Catholic, like they,
It's a whole different thing.
it's
Whole
a whole
different.
different ballgame, and we have very interesting conversations in my house. And like,
and he was Catholics, like went weekly to the study.
yeah. So growing up, he went to Catholic school for 2 years. 12 years. I can't do math. Is what we've learned from this podcast. 12 years. You know, going multiple times a week.
Yeah.
Very involved. And
I'm sure he was an altar boy at some point. And all
Probably.
So I
Well,
can,
so here's my
hold on,
thing.
I can speak to that, right? So when you go to Catholic school, number one, you're required to do something outside of that.
Yeah,
right.
Whether it be an altar boy,
Right.
whatever it is you're doing.
some kind of service to the church.
But
kind of-
when
throughout the week, you're required to attend service during school.
Yes.
People don't realize that. On Friday, you start the day, you go to Friday
We've been
Mass.
researching that because we're considering sending Olivia in high school. I'm not considering. Family is considering sending Olivia in high school, and I'm like, she was in the Jewish preschool. Now she's going to be in a Catholic high school, and I put her in a Christianity school.
Hey, that's called being well-rounded.
She's gonna be
Well-rounded.
well-rounded.
It's fine.
So can I go a little bit deeper?
Go for it.
So Jesus is just a person. So
Hold on. So it's the same way that we would think of Buddha.
Yes.
How do we,
Yeah, that's
He's
perfect.
a
As-
fat, he's a
actually
fat
as-
guy with a tummy.
as Christians, how do we view Buddha?
He's a fat guy with a funny belly that you're
But
not
he's
supposed
just
to touch.
to us.
You're not supposed to touch. Have
Do
you
not.
tried to touch Buddha's belly
Did you?
once and gotten yelled at?
Yes, we used to go. I don't even
Yeah.
know why, but my mom took me to the. I was younger. I don't know where we were on vacation. We were in.
You're like,
Totally
and
see this,
she's
though.
like in a Chinese
And
restaurant,
I'm
just
sorry,
rubbing
but
this Buddha's belly.
Buddha is just like the Pittsburgh Doughboy. You have to touch his belly. And so I went to touch his belly, and my mom is not very like I was raised. The neighbor took me to church and stuff. My mom believes in God. She prays, but I was more raised in your religion is a private thing. If you need to pray, you do it in your room. Like
That's
that.
good though.
Like my mom, when something happens, good or bad, she believes in God.
Religion is like a penis. You don't whip it out in front of people. Okay.
Oh my.
That might be the best.
I hope my
question
mom is watching it because that is her new thing she say to the grandkids. So I do I do remember walking in somewhere in Myrtle Beach. Trying to touch
listen to her. I have to go to the bathroom where the nutcrackers are going to stare at me. So just listen to her, and I'll
We
be
will
back.
have a full report when you get back.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be
Bring a
back.
few friends down. Bring a few friends down.
I come down with 40 nutcrackers.
So when
But no nuts.
and no nuts because there's no nuts in this house. None. Well,
I might be sitting next to one.
I-
What?
so I remember my mom going, "Don't touch Buddha," and I was like, "Why? His belly is touchable." And I just remembered it was like a big thing. You just don't touch him. But I get it. So that's a problem. So in your house, so she does this, and I eat cake and throw reindeer food out.
We don't eat cake. We don't throw out.
I'm
reindeer
sorry.
food.
Any holiday that you don't eat cake is no holiday for me. No, thank you. I got it. I need a reason to eat cake at every holiday.
Typically, we have lots of cookies, so
Yes.
there are sweets.
Thanksgiving, I go to her house and I eat all
It's
her
always
food
fun.
and everybody else's food. But okay, so in your house though,
So
are you feeding reindeers and lighting candles?
We're not. We typically don't feed reindeer unless a garbage comes home from school, because
At this point, I would just say, let her go and
Yeah.
tell her whole story.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to know everything you do
So
and why.
and why?
And I'm gonna drink out of my ladle.
So Christmas is kind of funny. So we do a very large family gathering for Christmas Eve with my extended family, and that's been a tradition since I can remember.
Okay.
So at our house, we haven't always bought a really large Christmas tree. Like this year we were able to, but there
You
have
do
been
know the difference of needles, though.
I do. But
I'll
there
never
were
look at
there
a
were
Christmas
years
tree
in
the
the
same.
past where we really couldn't afford a tree, so like that happens. Like that's a thing. The kids each have a stocking. Like, and I know like some people do Santa, some people don't. For me, like I view Santa as like the spirit of giving. Like for me, it's about like blessing
it's a
somebody
lie.
else.
We'll go there afterwards.
Like,
It's a lie. Well,
it's
okay,
I'm,
Dad.
I'm passionate about
well,
that.
and that's fine, but I think where I have an issue is with people that are like, well, we didn't believe that as a kid, so your kid shouldn't believe it. Or
I'm watching comments.
it's
know, I'm
not that I
curious.
like would go and say, oh my gosh, like Santa is real. Like Santa is not just one
He's
person
just
to me,
Canadian.
you know. And so like that, you know, we have the elves. I didn't really want the elves, but they're there.
They're there.
And so like we just move them around.
But you don't threaten your children that they only have to behave in the month
No,
of
my
December.
mother-in-law did make a Christmas ornament. She is Jewish, by the way. That is a Santa cam, and it's really hilarious. And like, it's more of a joke than
That's
like a
creepy.
really.
That's
it's just
funny.
it's literally a round ornament that has a black sticker on it and with a gray sticker that like looks like a camera.
So
Like,
let's
that's-
tell our children
it's
not
not-
to talk to strangers, but,
But,
then let's also teach them strangers are watching you better.
Okay,
behave.
honestly,
I
though,
know a
it
lot
is-
of people have cameras in their house to watch the babysitter.
There's one right there. So,
I mean,
but
how
honestly,
is that any different?
But honestly, though, in a very like, you know, so in a mixed family of having both Jewish and Christian, and myself identifying more with the Jewish mindset, I thought about that on a regular basis. Of
Wait, we have one comment that they can't see Bethany, but I see her clearly. Oh, perfect.
Oh.
Turn your
All
camera.
right, I got it.
I'm like,
Go
wow.
ahead.
hold up, no, so
Another Jewish flag on the play.
Jewish flag on the play. So that was one thing I really thought about was, okay, that's kind of creepy.
Because you don't have children yet.
Not yet. We're like in the process of like getting ready to start with our first, and we had those discussions of, you know, how are we going to raise these kids? What are
Yeah,
we
and
gonna
we
do?
kind of figure it out as we go. Like,
Right. It's
not
really
like
just
like here's our roadmap.
No,
It's been
there's
more
nothing.
fluid. Like, hey, we're gonna do this.
there's nothing.
Okay, and you guys talk a lot about it.
Now let her go.
Yeah.
No, let her go.
Let me go, dang
Quit
it.
interrupting her. You two are talking and let her go.
I'll sit here and drink my
So
wine.
some years we do better with the menorah than others because like my husband he doesn't go to synagogue and those things. Yes, he was raised that way, but he's not
He's
practicing.
not practicing.
And for me, I want them to understand those things. So I've learned, like, I have some very good friends that do work for the JCC and that have like helped me understand the community there, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that because I don't know a lot about it, which is where like PJ Library has been
books, yeah.
helpful because I can read it with my kids and I can understand, you know, some of the things that like you might say, and I'd be like, I have no idea.
I don't know what
I
that
can't
is.
even pronounce half
You know,
the
the deer in the
words.
headlights kind of thing.
Like, that's great.
Yeah. And so like I want them to understand those things. But like we do go to Christmas like Eve so
Okay.
we'll go to the concert. My dad plays in the orchestra. We go and watch, and like it's a whole family thing. So we do that too.
So you do less commercialized. Like I do a lot of Christmas commercial.
You are Christmas
Yeah,
incarnate,
see, like,
honey.
Yeah.
So-
You don't do
so
that.
like
You
our
do-
version of going to see Santa is like we'll go to Craft Growers, get a picture, and that's kind of it. We don't do breakfast with Santa. We don't do the Polar Express. We don't.
The traditional,
Yeah, we
like,
don't do-
Christmassy kind
We
of
don't
stuff.
do that kind of stuff. One, the Polar Express is really expensive.
Polar Express is like renting a house.
It's
Whatever.
a lot of money with 3 kids.
Yeah.
So we don't do that. And like with the Christmas tree, like it was really funny. So we have white and blue lights on our tree
Solid.
because it's kind of a blend
A
of
mix,
both.
yeah.
It's
you
a
know?
Hanukkah-esque color. Like,
Yes.
there's not a traditional color for Hanukkah.
But typically
But
you
blue
think of blue.
and
Yeah.
silver. I
And
need
silver.
my entire wardrobe.
Yeah.
Right now. But
So
yes.
we do have, and like my kids are hilarious. They got the blue lights out, and so the boys decorated just the bottom like 3
I
branches.
saw that.
and it was really cute. We'll fix it before we put everything up. Like one of
I
the
didn't know that.
traditions that
The
we
colors?
do is we always get the kids a Christmas ornament. It's always been something we do. So
Aw.
every year they get, and sometimes like they've picked them out in the past when we went shopping after the holidays and didn't know it, or sometimes it's something personal. So like I went to Chicago one year and
bigger Jewish population.
there's a much larger Jewish population, and
Much
they had
bigger.
Skokie.
they had stars that were
Yes.
carved from, and I can't think of the tree right now. They were imported, and I have the little tag.
Something from Israel.
Yes,
I'm gonna
and
take a wild
It
guess.
was,
Yeah.
but I off the top of my head I don't remember. So that year, that's what I bought them for their ornament for the
That's
tree.
So it's a mix
cute,
of.
though.
So it's a mix of like,
Jewish and Christian traditions, which
Mhm.
is,
and I think that's important that they learn both.
they're not isolated from either side of the family. They're introduced to both traditions, and
so like I've been to Hanukkah dinner when his grandmother used to do it. She lives in Florida. We don't get to go as often.
Yeah.
But like, it was always helpful. She was always very helpful at explaining things to me.
which
But
is
and your
amazing.
children
Which was
accept
nice.
both. So I have to tell you, my children. So I was Christian, and their father is Mennonite, and so I
always
have
forget that.
I have
Plot twist.
explained a lot to them in Mennonite, and my kids were like, "Nope, no, thank you." But your kids accept
yeah.
both. Yeah, my Olivia was like, "No,
But that was my.
we will
family.
buy our soap
Yeah.
and we will have electric."
But I mean, but that was my family though, because you had my mom's side of the family, which were a bunch of speaking in tongues, snake in baskets,
Ooh.
Baptists. Yeah. Crosses were burned upon my parents' engagement.
Yeah, that just to me screams a whole lot of other things.
Yo,
I need more ladle.
Shockingly, we are not close.
Yeah, because that's really off, really different.
But my dad's side of the family was also kind of confusing, and like his mother was Presbyterian, but the rest of the family was Jewish, and there was a lot of adoptions.
So there was a lot of
and-
mix and
So
all
ma-
that.
Like
There's a-
mingling.
okay.
There was
Yeah.
a lot of mingling.
But I
There's
love
some
how
mingling.
you raise your children with both understanding. So, I mean, I
Right.
say that my children went to the JCC and we participated in all things.
which was great.
I had to have a lot of help explaining all the rules so that I didn't offend anybody.
right.
But
'cause
we-
I still don't know all of
They
them.
did Shabbat on Fridays,
does.
and we did not pack meat, and we followed as much rule. And we went to all of their celebrations that they would have
Yeah.
because I wanted my children to be well-rounded.
So
Your kids
I-
are getting double the holidays
I talked
too.
to
So.
Yeah.
well, Aaron Ford now, but Aaron Katz.
Yes.
Right.
And so obviously we went to high school together. So
She's
she
wonderful.
has always been
Mhm.
someone that when I've had questions, I know that I could ask them.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because I know she's going to try to explain it so that I understand, or she'll be the
You're
one
that friend now. Wait till you get
invites
the
I'm-
messages.
yeah.
Wait
she'll be
till
the
you
one
get
that
the
invites
messages.
me to the
Guess
young
what,
Shabbat
Aaron?
dinner.
You've been
or-
tagged out. Apparently, I've been tagged
Yeah.
in.
Sorry, Aaron. You've been
So-
replaced.
no, she's never going to be replaced.
Aaron is sitting there like, we're on multiple
But-
boards together, so she's probably saying like,
That's funny.
like laughing.
But
going
yeah,
at me.
like I mean, when I've had questions, she's always been really
Yeah,
helpful.
and she's
with
wonderful
it.
with that.
And
Yeah.
so, like, you know, I do take the kids to some of the PJ Library stuff when I feel like I can handle. Like, my husband works 6 days a week, so if I can manage all 3 kids by myself, I take them. But sometimes that's overwhelming. So sometimes we don't make it to things.
Yeah.
And I feel like, so I think that is a religious trend, no matter which religion you are in. I feel like our generation as a whole is much less involved. So there's a lot of stress and pressure
Oh, definitely.
for our all of the religions, but for our generation to be involved. And I think it's just because we're all trying to figure out what religion looks like in
And we're so
our
worried of
lives.
offending
Right.
somebody or
Yes.
asking.
So
or
for me, some of it is, I think, when you get into certain groups, like my beliefs aren't going to, like what I ideologically believe, right, because of my life experiences, they don't necessarily fit a traditional mold. And
Right.
so then it becomes hard because, like, you know, the church should be your family and all of those things. But it's hard when you can't find a place that feels like home.
Right.
And so, like, that's kind of, I think, where our generation is different.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Feels off that way. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, so we were talking about it before everybody came into the mix. Everybody could see us. We were talking about the pressure of people being afraid of offending people. And, you know, I really do think you just invited me because I'm mildly unoffended by
and that was
everything.
the thing. I wanted, if people, and you'll see now that you're on this, people will ask questions a lot afterwards.
Which I love.
And we want to educate the difference, because now if I'm saying, you know, you're Jewish, I thought that had something to do with Jesus.
Right.
I had no idea that it had, I had no idea.
And people think, like, people are like, oh, it's the Jewish Christmas. And it's like, no, not Jewish Christmas. And most people don't understand. Like, you know, I went to a school in high school and growing up where I was like the only Jew. I'm pretty positive that I was the only Jew in a couple miles radius.
Maybe like, I don't know, 3 or 4 in our class.
Right. And
that I'm aware of. I mean, there could be more.
I knew, the only person coming to my head is Aaron, which was a year older.
Yep.
And Max and Alex.
Leuchtag. Probably my cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
they were a year younger than us. And
I don't remember them.
And I had a crush on Max, and my mom was like, you can't convert to being Jewish, so you can't have a crush on him. I remember that.
But seriously,
I remember that. I was like, Mom, he's so cute. I hope he is not watching these days.
He's like sitting in his room just like,
she's like,
he's so cute.
I'm
and
gonna
my
show
mom looked
him
at me and was
this
like,
now.
you can't ever convert, so don't even like him.
But honestly though, like a lot of people just aren't exposed to Judaism and they're not exposed to it and they don't understand.
So I think the beauty of the table I sat at the lunchroom was we had pretty much everything. Like,
you could.
But that's not common.
That's
No,
not
at
common.
all.
And I
Not
can tell you,
common.
Copley had that
but it was
diverse. They
it
still
was
do.
very diverse, and I think that was great because it exposed me to so many different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who I feel bad because, I mean, even sitting here, your daughter is like, oh, well, sometimes Jews come across as like stuck up. And I'm like, it's not that they're stuck up. It's just we get cornered a lot by people and people get tired and they get exhausted.
Put a wall up. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
They're
and I
trying
mean,
to
but you would
answer.
do that whether you're Jewish or not with certain other things.
Right.
There's other things that I put a wall up and you're not getting through that wall.
Right.
And I will come across as,
stuck up.
Yeah.
It's just
Because
Or
we
maybe
get,
you're just having a terrible day.
yeah.
well, and we get
So-
tired of answering the same questions. And that's why I try to be very cognizant of when people ask me questions. I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's explain it because, you know, I don't want people to think that we don't want to explain it. It's like, no, it's very important for you to know these
and
differences.
understand it. So I
Yes.
want to ask, what do you feel like when you walk into Hobby Lobby right now?
So,
I bought my candles there.
But I mean, like,
an argument broke out on my Facebook a couple months
because
ago.
Hobby Lobby is like Christmas puked in like November.
6 months
no,
out
like
of the year.
in October.
Like,
You're right.
so an argument broke out on
Kind
my
of annoying.
Hobby Lobby page. Or my
she has her own Hobby
No,
Lobby.
I'm sorry. My Facebook page concerning Hobby Lobby a couple months ago because I made a
They
comment.
do not have a Jewish hallway.
No,
No,
they're
it's,
like.
it's a little tiny end cap.
do
Literally.
they even? Do they?
There
do
is
they
an
get?
end cap.
They got a Hanukkah
She
page.
might have done that. She might have
No,
been a change.
A Jewish end cap?
Yeah,
Yes!
that is. If they have
Literally,
9
like,
aisles
the
of
size
Christmas.
of-
Okay, I
like
just want to talk
this.
about how everybody says
But I
that
wanna
the
know how
Jews
you
are
feel.
taking over the world. No, we're not. Because if we did, we wouldn't just have an end
End
cap
cap.
at Hobby Lobby and Target. Okay.
You
But
would
that's
have
what I would know. How does that make you feel?
So a
It makes
couple
it really
months
hard to buy
ago,
anything.
yeah, a couple months ago, I put a post up about how when I was at Hobby Lobby, this little girl started calling for her mother, and she was obviously separated from her parents, and she's like, "Mom, mom, mom," and I made some joke about how like 12 nuns, an archangel, and 3 employees like ran to
Oh
her
my
aid, like some joke along those lines, and people were like, oh, actually, they don't like hiring Jewish people, and they don't. And I'm just like, okay,
That
everybody
wasn't supposed to be like
step back. It wasn't supposed to be this serious of a comment, but No, I mean, I go into Hobby Lobby and I'm unfazed, but I think it's also the matter of most Jews in America are very accustomed to
But
being...
do you have, like, is there a Jewish store that we just don't know about?
Yeah, we go to Israel and it's just everything Jewish all the time. It's amazing. Like,
Like if you go to the Chicago when they have the
Yes.
like the holiday mart, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff.
So there are
So
things.
nice.
So
When you say Israel, you're talking country or you're talking the store?
country.
No, it's country.
Like, so when I stepped off the plane the first time I was in Israel, it was literally like
there's no Christmas trees.
There's no Christmas trees, shockingly enough. But like, it was such an amazing feeling because you were surrounded by people like you. I mean, there's menorahs.
That's
there's
what
all
I'm saying.
kinds
So
of
that's
stuff.
like a different experience. Like to us, it's
normal.
normal to go
Right.
to Hobby Lobby and have 9
Christmas
aisles of
trees
Christmas.
everywhere.
I
Like-
would really like the holidays to be like not put out 3 months in advance.
I feel there should be a
my
30-day notice. So we need to wrap this up, guys.
Just saying.
So thank you for joining us tonight. Kind of the main point was to educate and keep this conversation going. So also though, I think that some people may be offended, but you would rather somebody ask you.
I much rather have people ask me and discuss with me so I can explain to them. I mean,
The differences.
Yes.
And make assumptions.
Then make assumptions.
And that I think, and that's what I wanted to open up, and I want to continue this conversation like all other on our show, that I had no idea certain things that you've shared tonight. And I want to be informed, and I want to be educated, and I'm not raising my children both. I should just know because I have friends that are Jewish. And I live life with other people that are Jewish. So I should understand and have a knowledge of what they're going through. And I think that you guys just take a bunch of crap, like just assuming crap. Like people just assume it, and that's where it goes. And that you get this bad rep and all of this, and just talk. Open your mouth, ask the
think
question.
that's any topic.
Don't be
like,
afraid. Don't be
have a
afraid. Just be very honest. Be like, this is what I've experienced. This is what I've seen.
Yeah.
And if the person isn't an asshole, they'll discuss it with you. And
Perfect ratings, guys.
I live my life as PG-13 or above. But they'll discuss it with you and they'll try to explain it to you, and they won't judge you for not knowing. And if they do,
I would have more respect if somebody asked.
find a different Jew. If they're being a pain and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this. That's so rude." Find a different one.
Next.
Thank you.
Find
Next.
another one. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Next.
you, next.
Hashtag find a Jew.
Find a Jew. We're hashtagging that.
Hashtag find a Jew. But like, I don't know, find me. But I mean, I'll sit down.
We will tag her in this post. Send her all your Jewish questions.
I'm gonna have 40 invoices from like tomorrow. They're like, I have a random question about Judaism, and I'm gonna be sitting there like,
What did I do?
well, kiddos, I don't know what to say. But no, I mean, I think it's really just important to have those conversations.
It's real conversation. So
real conversations, not
Yeah.
just like,
I think that's the whole point of the show in general, is to have
Exactly.
a real conversation
Yes.
about topics that maybe are hard to discuss or hard to have a conversation and not get angry or defensive, and that's really important.
especially when you're bringing in politics or
Yes.
religion, and we just
Yeah.
brought in both because obviously
we did it all.
That's all. So thank you so much for joining us. So next week we do not have a show. I'm going to Florida. Told you, we just traveling.
Yay!
So I am leaving Sunday for Florida. We are back here
Alright.
the 19th of December with invisible handicaps. So a little bit serious of a
interesting.
conversation. It's going to be a good topic. Katie is our guest for that show. And she also, check out the events on our page. Make sure you like this first. Go click the like button. If you watch this, click like, so that we know how many are liking it and liking what they see. But also, there will be a petition that is loaded on the event for December 19th. And I would like you guys to read it before you watch the show, because it'll kind of give you an idea.
Okay, so it's like a sneak peek.
Yes, it's a good sneak peek.
Give them a touch. Are you taking a break during the holiday season? No.
We have about 3 weeks that we are taking. We are taking from December 19th will be our last show until the 3rd week of January. So just a mini break. We like to take more at the beginning of summer, so we don't take as long as a holiday break.
And in the background, your producers and interns will be working on establishing a new RS feed.
Did you hear that, guys?
So that the podcast will then become available in January.
What he said, ditto.
All right.
Lots of good things happening in January.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure that you check out some of our sister networks, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thank you for having
That's how
us.
I said sister networks. We're turning him into a girl. He just doesn't know it.
The infiltration.
We're taking over. This Sip of Solidarity podcast is a copyright of the 330 To Go Media Network. Thank you for tuning in.